and welcome everybody to our live Monday night call-in show. I am, of course, your host, the Wild Man, Chris Wild. And hey, guys, the chat's hopping. Looks like we've got Steely in the chat right off the rip. We got Aaron, Tyler. Good to see you, buddy. Eric's in the podcast. Looks like he's chit-chatting a little bit as the OHIO podcast tonight. So yeah, great to see everybody again tonight. Hey, big day. Of course, spring game only a few weeks away. Or a few days away, I should say. That's coming up this Saturday. And we got a lot to talk about between now and then. We got a quarterback competition going on. Ryan Day, Matt Patricia, Brian Hartline all took the podium today to talk a little bit about what's going on with the team. And we have a few callers in queue already. So, yeah. Without further ado, I think we're just going to jump into calls tonight, guys. And, just two lines still open. So don't hesitate. Hop on the line and let's get this thing going. We're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about tonight. All right. Let's go over to our first caller. How's it going tonight, Scooter?
Yeah, how are we doing, good sir?
If I was any better, I'd be you, Caden.
Can you hear me, Wild Man?
Yes, sir, I sure can.
Hey, what's going on with you, sir?
Oh, just same old, same old. Just woke up. It was a good day to be a Buckeye. Just finished watching the Ryan Day press conference, as well as Matt Patricia, Brian Hartline. All took the podium with some interesting things to say. But what's on your mind tonight?
Well, here's the thing, Wild Man. It's your buddy Caden the Man calling you from Ohio Cat. And then two, can I just say a couple of things that I need to get off my chest? And I've got two things I need to get off my chest.
Go ahead.
Off a big OSU chest.
Okay.
I heard your buddy Burks last night go off about how much he called Ohio State a bad word. And I'm not going to say the word on here because of friendly ratings. I know that's on tonight. But it's a word that I really don't think children need to hear. But the bottom line is, Burks, here's a piece of advice for you, you piece of no good Wolverine loving crap. You and your buddy Isaiah from Wolverine Wire, you guys can take your little Michigan flags and shove them where the sun don't shine.
Now,
because you like to you can keep snack talking about Ohio State, but here's the thing: you don't have a national championship trophy. We hold the national championship trophy. We're the better team, and we're the better team that played all 4 games, no excuses, and we came out and won. No excuses. Bottom line is, Michigan's an excuse. Ohio State is no excuse. We played till the blast whistle is blown. Y'all played and ran chicken out of time.
Well, Cade, here's the thing. They can say what they want. They can believe what they want. But the fact is, and the reality of it is this: 2 years from now, Ohio State's championship is still going to be, their banner is still going to be hanging up in the WAC. Can Michigan say the same thing?
Michigan fans ain't nothing but sorry holes. And they're nothing but sorry holes on a whole daily basis. And I know Mark Rogers can disagree with me, but that son of a is a dumb But the bottom line is, both Mark Rogers and Burks and Isaiah from Wolverine Wire can talk all the snack they want, but they have no right to say they won a national championship fair and square, because they did not win that championship fair and square. I'm going to tell you that now, Wild Man. And the bottom line is, Michigan wants to talk all that snack. Bottom line is, are you the team that went toe-to-toe with Georgia for 60 minutes? Oh, no. You did absolutely not go 60 minutes with a team that went down as one of the greatest defenses of all time right now. Back to that national championship. Bottom line is, wow, man. Now, let's just say this to you, and let me say this to all the dumb Michigan fans. You want to come on here and talk all your absolute garbage of absolute in here? Bottom line is, and I can speak for all the fellas in the house here at Ohio Cast. All of us here at Ohio Cast know all them blue maize cowards ain't nothing but a bunch of sorry holes that just like to suck on somebody's particular set of tits. And, well, we don't need to say about which woman was the victim of that. Bottom line is, well, man, to all them sorry blue and maize cowards, don't ever come on here and talking all that to us, because this is the room of the big dogs, the champions, the true champs. So I'm telling you that now.
Okay, kid, we know how they are, and as angry as they get me, I have determined not to let myself go down that rabbit hole today. I'm determined I am going to bring this thing back to a positive note, because we are merely 5 days away from the spring game when we go out and start defense of that national title. 5 days. And we're going to have a great fan appreciation.
5 days out.
We're going to have a great fan appreciation tailgate. We're going to see some good football on the field. Ryan Day, hey, he kind of let it out a little bit today, that spring game. Yeah, there's going to be some of that soft stuff at the beginning for the starting guys who are coming back. But after a few series of that, man, he's going to let them get after it. He's going to let them go out there and play football. It's going to be a game format, and everybody's going to be live except for the quarterbacks, which, by the way, I don't know if you caught his press. Ryan Day has actually had the quarterbacks live on now 2 occasions this spring. Something that he has not done in the past as head coach. So I think that tells us a little bit about, A, that this is a little bit of a real quarterback competition, and B, I think he's understanding these guys need real-time snaps. So I'm excited to see this. Are you not excited? Are you excited for the spring game?
I am excited, wow, man. But here's my problem. I'm not going to be able to make it out to the spring game because of my work. But I will tell you this. I'll try to make it out, but if I can't, bottom line is, I will call into the show before the spring game, and I will tell you what. I'll give you my thoughts on how it will go down. But there's another thing I need to mention to you, wow, man, that I need to get off my chest. I want to talk about the contenders this year for the national championship against Ohio State.
Okay.
I've got a couple teams in mind that I want to talk about that I see as better competition than Notre Dame, Alabama, and the team up north, Jack. Can I give you my list here? I got it written down here on the desk over here. I've got Georgia, I've got Miami and SMU, or either one of them, or Iowa State, BYU, Kansas State, or Arizona State. And I will be completely honest with you, buddy. I'll tell you, there's at least 2 teams in my opinion that have a better chance of being a better team in the playoffs as competition. But I'll tell you this. There's one thing that everybody here at Ohio, and I can't speak for everybody here, but but I can say this proudly, wow, man. There's at least 2 teams that I know that are at least better than Notre Dame and Michigan, and that deserve a championship opportunity against Ohio State more than those 2 losers.
Okay, who is it?
Iowa State and SMU or Miami. It's actually 3, because those 3 teams, in my particular opinion, are good, raw, young, but also hungry. those guys deserve more of a championship opportunity than, say, Notre Dame and those Team Up North idiots.
Okay, so I'm with you on the guys from the Team Up North because let's face it, they're banking their whole program on a guy who's never taken a snap. And they lost a lot losing those defensive line guys from last season. That defense is not going to be the same that it was. So I'm going to go with you.
Right.
I'm going to go with you on that Team Up North. It's no secret how much I despise Marcus Freeman for his comments he made towards Ohio State. It's no big surprise. Everybody knows how I feel about that. But I think that discounting them after they came off of a run last season is a big mistake. I do believe that this is a team that's going to be back in the playoffs this year. And I do believe that they're going to be a pretty good team this year again. Now, their quarterback situation still has to play itself out. But if you look at all the top contenders, you can say the same thing. I mean, here you look at the top 6 teams listed. Ohio State, going with a new quarterback, lost a lot.
Right.
Texas, going with a new quarterback, lost a lot. Georgia, going with a new quarterback. Oregon, going with a new quarterback, again, lost a lot. Penn State, if it wasn't for the fact that James Franklin was there, I would say might be a top 3 team next year. They've got the talent. They've got good returning talent. But they've also got James Franklin, which I think is a big knock.
Hey,
Notre Dame.
Wow, man, can I be... Hold on, man. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can I be perfectly honest with you about something?
Yeah.
Just one thing in particular. Penn State is no absolute threat. They are absolutely no competition, and they don't even deserve to be in the Big Ten. Hell, they should be in the ACC for all I care, because them guys can't play against Ohio State. They can absolutely play ball against our Ohio State Buckeyes. And I can say that very proudly. They've proven that to me time and time and time again. We came in there, they showed up, and we beat them.
And you're right. You're right. We own Ohio or Penn State.
Penn State.
We own Penn State. However, and granted, I know you're going to throw the cheating thing out there, but that team up north can say the same thing about us.
Oh, listen, that's it. Them team up north holes ain't nothing but a bunch of sorry losers that don't know how to play football right. They don't know how to play physical football for 60 minutes up and down the road like we do. They ain't on the same level as us. They ain't on the same level as Georgia. As far as I'm concerned, Alabama ain't even on our dang level. And my one guy over here, Mark, who just went by me, shout out to Mark, Miss Legend here at Ohio Cat, is laughing over here because he knows Notre Dame fans are as dumb as they are. And truth be told, and I can say that's proudly for all the guys here at Ohio Cat. So I'm going to say that to you, wow, man. And here's the other thing, too. You, Eric, and, you can disagree with me on how I use my language. And I know that you guys are family friendly, but you have to be perfectly honest. As much as those two losers from the north, and as far as South Bend is concerned, them kids don't know how to play football right. Them kids do not absolutely know how to play football right. The only thing the kids at Notre Dame do right is go to church. They can go to church and give their soul to the Lord, but their belongs to us. And them kids from up north can go drink as much milk from their mama as they want, but their belongs to us. They can hand their soul to the Lord, but their belongs to us. They can say, oh, they're this, and this, and this, and this. Oh, they're just a bunch of dummies in a maize and blue uniform that can't play football right. That's the bottom line. We all know that. And the Ohio podcast, I can speak for everybody on the Ohio podcast that's an actual true Ohio State fan. They can agree with me. You can tell me not to come back on here, and by God, tell me to never call back on this show because of my language. I don't care if Eric tells me either. But I'm just stating the facts here, Chris, and I'm being honest with you 100%. Now, I'm not gonna lie about anything I say on here. I'm gonna tell you that. And as far as Burke's buddy Mark Rogers and that sorry son of a ain't nothing but a coward. Ain't nothing but a second-rate Wolverine. I'm gonna tell you that. As far as I'm concerned,
okay.
I'm gonna tell you something else too. You know, there's two things I've realized in over 10 years, in over a decade on a family farm that I've learned. Wow, man. There's an old saying: nice guys always finish last, when the cowards are the first ones out. Well, I can say that truthfully. Michigan and Notre Dame are the cowards because they don't know how to hang around and absolutely stay around when the big dogs enter the building. And, you know, the funny thing is, Chris, you can try to back me off this show all you want, and Eric can tell me not to come back on here. I don't care. I'm just trying to I'm trying to let these people know on the LHI podcast what's truth be told. I'm not lying about everything I say on here, by God.
Caden, are you there? Caden? Looks like we've lost Caden. Caden, sorry about that, buddy, but we're going to have to agree to disagree here because, you know, I'm not saying you can't call in. Not absolutely. You know, this show, we believe in letting everybody have their say. But, my man, I think you're wrong. You're letting your confidence grow into arrogance. And, you know, I think that, hey, I got to tell you, I got to disagree with you where you're at, my man. Anyhow, we got another caller on the line. We are going to, here we go. Here we go. We're going to bring the fire. I know there's some fire on the line now. TG, are you there?
What up, Chris?
Hey,
what
how's
up,
it
Chris?
going?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Hey,
how about you, man?
Day.
How are you doing?
It's great.
For me, it's going well.
Yeah.
For me, it's going real well. I'm actually glad he talked about that thing with the team up north. I'm kind of talking some trash because I had found this out for myself too. And me and Sean, we will talk about it this Thursday. Cause you scum shouldn't be talking no trash. But you want to know what's even funnier?
That's what they do best, though, TG.
What's even funnier about that is y'all talking trash, but yet y'all melting down about Ohio State's recruiting hot streak, and y'all ain't got a single commit yet at all.
And man, that is a hot streak they are on too. They are on a brutal hot streak, and then now I'm hearing we may get the Waffle kid out of New Jersey possibly. And then
he loves Ohio State.
Braylon Womack is now leaning towards us a little bit. So, you know, these are exciting.
He's a Buckeye fan. He's been one since he was a kid.
And TG, from everything I've heard, this kid is like the second coming of Caleb Downs.
Yep. If you watch his film, I'm telling you, it's a lot like it. Like, this guy literally hits like Caleb. Like, he hits, he moves, he's able to read an offense and just make a move. Like, that's what I'm saying is, like, this kid gonna be special. And the fact that he's been a Buckeye fan all his life is even better. And the fact that Ohio State can literally, like, legitimately sell to this kid on defense. Because remember, Caleb wanted to come here, but it was probably smarter for him to go to Nick Saban then come over here. Because I think at the time, had he came here, he probably wouldn't have played in his freshman year. So him coming to a sophomore year and helping us win the Natty probably was for the better. Whereas with this kid, Braylon Womack, we get a second chance. We get him in his freshman year, and we get to have another safety that's just ready to go right now. And the best part is he's going to be with Blaine Bradford, who I compare it to pretty much Lathan Ransom. Because he really does hit like Lathan. I mean, that dude will knock you out cold.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they are doing an amazing job. Let me tell you. Coach Walt, you know, Matt Guerrieri, just they're tearing it up. I mean, and you look at the recruits we've already got, committed for 2026. I love to see what we've been doing along that offensive line. The defensive backs are looking strong. The tight end that we've got committed out of Florida, Corbin Fordham. I love what that kid brings to the table. The CJ Sana who we just signed. 247 has him. The 247 composite has him as a 3-star. I've seen him ranked as high as a 4-star on some of the boards. And Eric and I really enjoyed his video as well. What they are putting together there, it almost seems like this shouldn't be sustainable, TG, because of how good the talent just keeps getting year after year after year.
If you really look at it, if you really look at it, actually what Ohio State is doing is actually the smarter thing, where they're getting like 1 to 2 ready-made guys who can play right now and be instant contributors, and they're getting developmental guys who will buy into the 3, 4, 5-year plan, which is absolutely smart. Like, they're not just getting the elite, like just top tier guys. They're actually going down the board and picking the guys who have the biggest potential and will develop them into the next set of stars, which is the smartest thing. Like, they're well ahead of everybody regarding that. Give them the credit for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, they have got a plan. They are executing it 100%. And I'll tell you, in the past, I've questioned Ryan Day, but I've never questioned his recruiting or his recruiting philosophy. And he's got guys out there now. And we finally got somebody who's really recruiting heavy on that offensive line. And I'm just so excited. Yeah. So excited. And you see James.
And the best part is about Tyler Bowen.
Yeah.
That is the best part. Tyler Bowen, except the best part is Tyler can actually do both. Because
yes,
I get that Justin Fry wasn't a great recruiter in high school, but again, he was an excellent developer, which is something you can't take away from the guy. And I'm not gonna lie, Ohio State had an offensive line coach who was like so iffy when it came to development, but a really good recruiter.
Yeah.
And if I had to take my pick, I'd take the guy who could develop over the guy who could recruit. No offense, but development, especially because the offensive line is a developmental position, I'm going to take the developer, even if he's not great at recruiting in high school. He did well in the transfer portal. I can give him credit for that, but it's like, you got to have a base in high school. Again, I can kind of understand why he didn't, but it's like, you got to have a base. And the fact that Tyler Bowen can do both is something that Ohio State hasn't had in how long?
Oh, it's been a while.
And
I'll tell you.
And then that Simeon Caldwell kid, too.
Yeah, the Simeon Caldwell kid. Now, let me ask you about him, because Eric and I went back and forth a little bit on this during our recruiting video, which, guys, that's a members-only video. If you're not a member yet, only $3.99 a month to sign up. We've done shows on every single recruit that Ohio State has gotten so far, and we have our own ranking system, and so you can check that out if you are a member. But TJ, I want to get your input on this. Simeon Caldwell, safety or linebacker? I know that he's listed as a linebacker in high school. He primarily plays linebacker, but it's projected he'll play safety at the collegiate level. What do you think?
I'm going to say this. As of right now, he's a safety, but I think he's going to be like Sonny Styles. Because remember, Sonny came in as a safety, then he eventually outgrew the position and became a linebacker. That's what I think with Simeon Caldwell, because he has the same body type as Sonny Styles. So I would say right now he's a safety because of his body.
Right.
If he gets bigger and he starts outgrowing the position, he will become a linebacker.
Yeah, 6'3", 185, I believe it is where Simeon's at.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, he hits like a linebacker, man. We've watched those videos, and I'm telling you, that guy is aggressive. He has a legitimate mean streak. I do like the way that, he does look back for the ball a lot, though. So that's a great thing, So I do.
Yeah. If you look at his film, it kind of reminds you of Sonny coming out of his time, coming out with CJ Hicks. Like that's what Sonny was doing. That's why I say I think Ohio State Like if you look at the class that they're bringing in some ways it's kind of giving you similarities to players that they've had before. So you're pretty much seeing that, where that's another thing with Ohio State recruiting is you're actually seeing players that Ohio State's had in the past that they're bringing in that has similar skill sets.
Yes.
And have a similar type feel. Because I think that's something they sold to Simeon Cardwell, which is, hey, you will be a safety now, but when you start outgrowing the position, we will do you how we did Sonny Styles. And I think that's a perfect sell. When you have players like that and you have the experience of doing that, especially with a guy like Sonny, well, now you can really start selling that. And that to me is what I love about Ohio State right now with their recruiting is not only have you figured out like what you are looking for in your coaches, because you pretty much figured out your coaching staff and which one of your coaches. Well, now you figured out what you want in your players. Now you know what you're looking for, and you're pretty much finding players who have similar styles to some of the best players you've had in the past.
Yeah.
And even currently.
So were you just, as long as we're on the kind of the young player kick, going back to spring ball a little bit here, were you surprised when you found out that Ryan Day was actually running the quarterbacks live a couple times this week? Actually letting them take
yes
hits?
and no. Yes and no. Because I would say I was a little surprised with how much he was doing it, but I wasn't as surprised because I figured he would do that because with Will Howard and with someone like that, because he has the ball experience, with Justin Fields, who had a little bit of experience, and even C.J. Stroud, even though he didn't have that much experience, you could see what he was.
Right.
You knew what he was. Like, you could tell, like, these guys, you didn't want to get hurt because you knew what they could bring to the table. Whereas with these three, we don't have, like, we know what they're capable of, but they haven't shown us that yet. Like, I think Julian Sand has a C.J. Stroud, like Aaron Rodgers type of passing, but there's still some things he needs to do. Like, for instance, he needs to get tougher when pressure gets in his face, because whether you know it or not, they set this really about all three of the quarterbacks where they have that calm core-like release, like when pressure gets in their face, they don't really put enough ball onto it. So what they're trying to do is get them to understand what that's like in the game. Because think about it. When you're playing college football, that's what's going to happen. But that's especially what's going to happen when you get into the NFL. Like, you're going to have pressure in your face no matter what. So you're going to have to get used to that. And you're going to have to find a way to navigate around the pocket. So I'm not as surprised because I figured that's what he was going to do anyway, because these guys have no experience.
Yeah. And I like it. And I also think, I really do believe, and I joked about it a few weeks ago. We talked about, was there really a quarterback controversy going on? I think that might have been the night you were on, wasn't it? Was it an actual quarterback competition? And I said, yeah, it's a quarterback competition to see who's going to be second place or second string. I don't think so anymore. I think this is a legitimate competition at this point. Now, do I think that eventually that Julian Sand wins out? Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, because everything that we're hearing, everything that we're seeing, my God, I'll tell you, Lincoln is looking like the best quarterback in camp from what we're seeing.
So far right now, and it's not shocking to me in any facet. Because I said it before, if he improves and he shows improvement, then this is a real quarterback competition. At the time, I didn't think so yet because I wanted him to show me. Well, now he's kind of showing me. Now, obviously, it's early in spring, and we've seen how this goes before. But I do think Lincoln is a different quarterback now compared to what he was when he first came. Because remember, he was a multi-sport athlete, so he didn't really have a chance to get with the team for winter workouts and spring ball like he did last year and this year now. So him getting a chance to do that in 24 and this year in 25, he's now developing, like he's changing as a quarterback. Now, do I think he's an elite quarterback? No. I think he would be something like Craig Krenzel, where a lot of people didn't believe Craig Krenzel was good enough to play at Ohio State, which understandably so, because from a standpoint, Craig Krenzel was a really Ohio State quarterback material. But he led us to a natty because he had all the things you looked for. Even though he wasn't super talented, he had the things you were looking for. I think with Lincoln Kehoe, he could be that. I'm not saying he will lead us to a national championship or anything, but I'm thinking he could be something like Craig Krenzel where that can happen. Because even though he's not like Julian Sand and Tavian St. Clair, he doesn't have the talent they have. He doesn't have the ceiling they have. Someone you could definitely win with, for sure.
Yeah, I always like to use the term serviceable. He's a guy who's not going to go out there and win you games, but the big thing is you don't want him to go out there and lose you games. I think that's the kind of guy that Lincoln is. He can step up big and make the gutsy play when it has to be made. I think he's got heart. I think he's got toughness. While I think Julian's skill set is probably better overall, it's a completely different skill set, so it's hard to say, which is the better. But I think I love what Lincoln's doing for himself here. So, anything else on your mind?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking myself.
Oh, go ahead.
That's what I was thinking for myself as well. But I've also been pretty much just trying to make sure I'm like in the spring practice, understand. Like I got to listen to Ryan Day, Brian Hartline, and Matt Patricia, and it's like I'm super happy with Matt Patricia hire because literally what I'm hearing is like not only like he knows the defense, like he's learned it, and guess what? He's added some little wrinkles to it. And from what I understand, the little wrinkles he's added is so freaking deadly. Like for offenses, it really is. And I was like, if you telling me this guy managed to evolve this defense with just these little wrinkles, I can only imagine what he's thinking about doing with the players he has on the team right now. Because he's super excited about Caleb Downs. He's super excited with Jermaine Matthews, CJ Hicks, especially because CJ's been bulldogging people.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you're telling me that we're really going to have, like, some stuff to this defense that we hadn't had before, oh, my God. If he's found a way to make this defense even deadlier, oh, please sign me up. I will be watching.
You know what I love, TG? As I was listening to Matt Patricia today, they asked him, is the 4-2-5 they were trying to get him to commit to the 4-2-5 defense. He wouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And, at first I was not a big fan of the Matt Patricia hire. And you tried to convince me. You did. You tried to convince me. I wasn't on board with it. I'm still kind of in wait and see mode. But I'm getting a little more confidence the more I hear coming out of camp. And I do like him at the podium. He's nothing if not entertaining, He's actually, I think, got a very dry, fun sense of humor, and the way he delivers things. But he's very Ryan Day-like in that he's non-committal about everything. But he was really speaking about a lot of the possibilities together or today. And when he asked what he was most looking forward to about the spring game, of course, he talked about the fans, this, that, and the other. But he mentioned communication and recognition. And he said, amongst the defensive staff and the team as well. So that tells me that he's going to hold the staff to, I think, a higher accountability as well. And I like that.
Oh, absolutely. I love that, really. And the best part is his bondage with the players. Because when you listen to the players and you listen to how they talk about him, they absolutely. That was one thing I know you as well as a couple others was worried about y'all.
I was worried about the culture having a slip with him coming in. I was a little worried about how he was gonna interact with the players, how he would interact with the parents. He'd been in the NFL for so long. I was concerned. And he didn't have the best reputation coming out of Detroit. Of course, he was a head coach then, not a coordinator.
I mean, you have to think about it, though. It's Detroit, though. It's Detroit.
It is.
Like, let's be honest. It's not like because that team was full of just a bunch of losers. And if I'm being honest, if you ask me what's easier, being a college coach or an NFL coach, as far as when it comes to dealing with players, because at least in college you can bond with these players, you can mold them into the image that you want. versus in the NFL where these are a bunch of grown men who are making more money than the freaking head coach did. Like, like the head coaches kind of have no control. So yeah, of course. And not to mention, he even talked about it. Like, he came from the Patriots where he had that mindset. And I don't have to say, like, outside of, I would say, I forgot the name of that coach who from the Patriots went on who wasn't that hated. But every other Patriots coach from under Bill Belichick has been universally hated, no matter where they go, because they try to be like Bill Belichick. They kind of learn their lesson from that. And they're pretty much just used to success. They're not really used to, they have to like try to find their own voice instead of trying to be like Bill Belichick. And he pretty much learned that, which again, I'm happy he realized that for himself, because even he said it. He recognized from his mistake that he probably should have went out and tried to find his own voice and build it up from the ground up in a different way than approaching his time with the Lions like he was at the Patriots. Like you have to do different than what you were doing before.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, TG, I've got a couple more on the line. I'm going to have to let you go. Always good to hear from you, and hope we'll be hearing from you again next week.
Yeah.
Hey, have a great day.
You too, Chris. Ayo.
Go Bucks. All right, that was TG. Always on fire. Always brings so much in her calls. I love it. Next, it looks like we have, I believe this is one of our wrenches. I believe we got Tyler on the line. Let's see here. Tyler, are you there, my man?
Oh, yes, I am, Chris.
How's it going, my man?
Oh, I'm great, Chris. Did you see what was posted on Twitter today?
I honestly have not. I'm going to tell you, my X game is not strong. I'm old, so I look at Facebook more. I occasionally, when I flip over to Twitter, it's usually for us.
Okay, well, Michigan stole another thing from us. Again, what a surprise.
Yeah.
So, apparently, they got a new sign up that says no red or green beyond this point. Apparently, they don't like Christmas up in Ann Arbor, Chris.
Well, that's because all they get is coal, because they're a bunch of liars, cheaters, thieves, weasels, perverts. You know, all they get's coal for Christmas.
They're the Ebenezer Scrooge of college football. Bah humbug.
I think that's being too nice to them.
I know, but I'm just saying that's a.
Scrooge actually had a conscience,
they don't
man.
like Christmas color too.
Scrooge actually had a conscience. He turned it around. They have no conscience in Ann Arbor.
Exactly. But, so let me get this straight, Chris. How long have we said no blue in the Woody Hayes Athletic Center?
Oh, as long as I can remember.
So why is it taking them this long to say no red in both Shen-Beckford Hall?
Because, like everything else, they're behind the times, man.
So basically, I just saw that today. I'm like this. What a surprise. They stole another thing from us. They can't think of anything original.
Well, they're not that bright. Let's just call it what it is. They're not that bright. They're not that original. They have to steal other teams' playbooks to figure out what to do. This is not the sharpest knife in the drawer we are talking about here, Tyler.
Oh, I know. It's just more and more validation. That's the truth.
Hey, Tyler, I got one here for you. I want you to check out this comment because Jason wants to come to their defense. Great city, great people, great university. Jason, this is where we're going to agree to disagree. If you'd like to call in and make your case, we welcome it, buddy. We do. But I'm going to tell you, I've never seen anything good come out of Ann Arbor, man.
Yeah, that's a big fat lie, but okay. And Jason, we can agree to disagree.
That's right.
Because we all know the facts are the facts. because I'm a guy that believes in the Carfax. If I see the Carfax that say you are a liar, you are a cheater, you are a disgusting pervert or stuff like that, like Michigan is, that the reputation is, that's your Carfax. That's who you are.
Well, this is what I'd say, Tyler, and this is, and again, I wasn't necessarily going to go down this road tonight. I was going to try to keep this thing Ohio State hype and leave Michigan off the table tonight, but that's okay because I'm here to talk about what you guys want to talk about. But here's the thing with it. Michigan is just the lowest form of life on the planet. There is nothing up there that is at all redeeming in Ann Arbor. They have transcended the game of football with the depravities that they have committed. And it was a once, I think, very respected program. And even as a rival, I didn't like them, but I respected them. I can't say that anymore.
Chris, listen to this. I was reading the chat while you were speaking. This is from Jason. Tyler's a little cringe, but but respect everyone else, especially Steely.
Tyler, you're cringe? Is this one of those Michigan fans that you ran into at the gym, man?
No, this is the Jason that you're just talking about.
Yeah, I know. Is he one of your gym stalkers?
Quite honestly, it could be, Chris. It could be.
Real quick, for Jason, who says he's a Big Ten guy, please go back and watch our Sunday night show. This is not the SEC. We don't get out there and root Big Ten, Big Ten, Big. No. We don't do that. We have two favorite teams on this show, Ohio State and whoever's playing that scum up north. That's it.
Ding, ding, ding.
Anything else on your mind tonight, Tyler? Bring it, buddy.
So, Jason, like, why are you here? Like, in all due respect, why are you here? If you're a Big Ten guy, you see what team we root for. You're here on purpose. You want to see everyone get all hot and bothered.
Now, wait a minute, though. Before we go casting stones at Jason, I got to come to his defense on this. I haven't seen him bash Ohio State. I just see him trying to defend the scum a little bit. He says he's a Big Ten guy. Maybe he's not here to, rank on anybody. But, let's give him a chance. I say that about everybody. I mean, we're an Ohio State podcast. We'll actually let Michigan fans call in and talk. So I'm not going to cast any aspersions, make any assumptions. I'm just going to say, let's see what happens.
Well, Chris, he said after that, considering on becoming an Ohio State fan, sorry, I'll leave.
Okay, first of all, you have to understand, being an Ohio State fan, it's not an attitude. It's not what you do. It's a way of life.
Exactly.
So, Jason, like I said, you're welcome to call in. You're welcome to give us a call. We're happy to have you in the chat. But just understand, if you're considering becoming an Ohio State fan, we hope you come over to the good side of the force here. But understand we are an intense crowd, very passionate, very, I'd like to say loyal, but let's face it, we were about ready to run the guy who won the Natty out of town a few months ago.
Yeah.
So our loyalty can sometimes come into question. I'm not going to lie about that. But we are a very passionate, very intense crowd. So just be prepared for that, Jason.
Yes.
Anyhow, what else you got on your mind tonight, Tyler?
The other thing I got on my mind, Chris, is so I think this team, quite honestly, I think this team is better than last year's team.
You know, I've heard arguments for that. At the same time, let's just let's hope, but let's not be overly. I don't want to say overly.
Overly confident.
Let's not be overly confident. Let's not drop into a point of arrogance. And Eric and I have both talked about this. You know, we're a young team. We're going to have growing pains. It's going to happen. Yeah. We can't be ready to, throw out whatever starting quarterback we got if they struggle a little. Because let's face it, whoever it is, that first game is not going to be easy. It's not going to be, I think we win it, but it's not going to be easy. Texas is a legitimate title contender.
And that's where I was going with it. Talent-wise, the team is, I think, better. I'm saying by talent. But they're young and inexperienced. But in a way, I kind of like that, Chris, because you can see in practice, they are, with all the young guys competing, it's lighting a fire in this team that is still there since we won the national championship.
That's a good point, Tyler. And I want to bring up something that Ryan Day said earlier. And actually something that was mentioned during Matt Patricia's presser earlier as well. They talked about the way that specifically guys on the defense, Sonny Styles led this charge, I guess, partially, wanted to remove all the national championship stuff from the Woody. They wanted to take it down during this training camp. Because he felt, and the guys felt they needed to earn that. This was their championship. Now is our time. And then you go to Ryan Day's comment. He said the guys have been competitive and edgy, almost chippy, I like that. I like the intensity. I like the fact that, you're getting some pushing and shoving in practice. I like the fact that you got, these guys, and Steve just mentioned this. You got guys like Riley and Pettyjohn and Devin Sanchez who are bringing it big early. And man, they are. I mean, Devin is looking very competitive. I don't see a way that Devin Sanchez does not get on the field this year. I just don't.
I agree.
He's out there covering at times in practice the best, not just receiver, the best player in the country in Jeremiah Smith. That's only going to make him better. And he looks the part already.
Exactly. And my other argument why I think this team has the fire compared to last year's team is they have a lot more to prove. They have a lot more to. You had a lot of proven guys the past 3 years, 4 years. You had a lot of guys that have played a lot of football, that have a lot of experience You'll have that this year, but with the way you're recruited, the talent is going to, at bare minimum, is just as comparable, if not. You can win every year. You can win by pure talent at least 10 games with this roster.
Yeah, I agree.
It's those matchup games that are going to determine how good this team is. We're going to find out week one how good this team is.
Yeah. Hey, Tyler, I'm going to have to run. I've got 2 more calls in queue, and time's running short. So always appreciate the call. Right. Hope to hear from you next week as well. And OH.
IL.
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
Looks like the next one might be a new caller. We got someone from the 931 calling in here. Hi, who do I have on the line?
Hey, this is Dave again. I called you a couple weeks ago, my man.
Yeah, how's it going?
It's going, man. I'm still walking on sunshine down here in the Sunshine State, and I can't wait for the spring game, brother.
I'm psyched. I am so pumped up about this spring game. Let me just tell you that there is so much that I want to see out of this spring game this weekend. Obviously, we're interested in the quarterback competition. What about Quincy Porter, man? First freshman to lose his black stripe. And you know, Ryan Day was raving a little bit about him in the press conference today. You got the offensive line, which I'm interested to see kind of the configuration of that. There's legitimate talk that Austin Severveld could possibly start at either guard or tackle. Devin Sanchez, every indication is that this kid's the real deal. And I love the fact that, excuse me, I love the fact that Ryan Day has said, okay, the big time players, you know, and he didn't come out and call them big time players, but, you know, our returning guys from last year, the starters, are probably only going to play a couple series. It's going to be a little bit of a more of a lighter practice. But after they come out, man, the gloves are off. It's going to be full on game format. Everybody's going to be live except for the quarterbacks. So we're going to see a little bit about that running game.
Honestly, the only place I can see where, you know, we got some, we're really just, we're in, and we've really been this way pretty much my whole life. I'm 56.
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen, my first recollections of Ohio State football was Woody Hayes, Buckeye football.
Right.
And this last year's backfield and this year's backfield, I tell you what, they're the most elite running back backfields I've seen in Ohio State. Receivers, like you said, Quincy Porter getting that black stripe taken off is just another dude. And it kind of reminds me of like 2020 a little bit. We had so many dudes. Somebody had to leave. You know, and we end up seeing that dude in the national championship game, and he tore a new hole in that defense because, you know, we couldn't make adjustments or whatever.
Yeah.
But this team kind of, if you think about it, in a lot of ways, reminds me of the 2022 Bulldogs, right?
Yeah.
They're coming off that incredible 21 season, one of the most incredible defenses we've ever seen in college football. It was elite of elite. And you can say that about this Ohio State team as a whole. We got to worry about quarterback position, which I've got a little bit of a 23 feeling here with that, but I feel a lot better about it than I did in 23.
Yeah.
After watching that 23 spring game, I was like, oh man, none of these dudes are all that accurate with their arm, man. And I think we'll be. I think we're going to be fine. I think we're going to be fine. I think Keen Holes is like you said earlier, or was it TG that said it, about having a serviceable quarterback?
Yeah.
You know, and I think we have that. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. And even though Tavian St. Clair really isn't in that mix yet, there's good enough talk about him. Come fall, that dude's a baller. He might not be in the running, but I tell you what, he's going to push that quarterback room even further. And that's what's going to be really scary, because these dudes got people to throw to. They've got the most elite receiver core we've ever had at Ohio State. And let that sink in for a second.
Yeah, that's frightening.
We're just going to reload. And the defensive line will be fine. It's serviceable.
Now, see, that's one
right?
spot, and Ryan Day kind of touched on it there a little bit today. Our depth needs to get better there. We've seen flashes,
Absolutely.
but lack consistency in that too deep. So I think that's one spot that we've got. We are going to have to see some work. We're going to have to see some growth. But if we do, look out, because I think that, Tyler said it may have been right. This team may end up being better than last year's team. It's got that kind of talent. What it lacks is that
agree.
kind of leadership, though. That's where they've got to step. We've got to get that leadership.
I'm in.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of done talking about scum. I'm over them. I went to a car show yesterday, the wife and I, and there was somebody there had a Ohio State little shelter, because it was like 90-something degrees here yesterday. It was absolutely just horrific. And there happened to be a scum fan that was sitting underneath there with him. He wanted to start talking some trash, and I just shut him down.
What they do, man.
Shut him down.
That's what they do.
And I called him straight to his face. He's arrogant. It's like, you're like, oh, I hope he's like, you're going to be here in December? It's like, well, first off, I'm not a part-time resident like you, obviously. But I said, yeah, I'll be here. And I said, I can't wait to see you, because if you can't cheat, you can't win. And all we had to do last year, is throw the ball.
Yes.
That's all we had to do. The game was over. Throw the ball one time, make a connection. That game is over.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm still trying to figure out the logic and what happened there. But at the same time, it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter, because Ohio State went out. They righted the ship. They won the national title. Ryan Day has redeemed himself. That team redeemed itself. And the trash talk from the scum up north, they can say whatever they want. Whatever they want. I don't care. The fact is, Ohio State ran the toughest gauntlet en route to their national title. They are a legit national title or national champion. They're not like a team that cheated to get there. They're not a team that won half a national title. The only thing that's kept Michigan relevant since 1948 is getting their tail kicked by Ohio State. That's it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. If it wasn't for us, they wouldn't have been relevant. If it wasn't for the rivalry, they would have not stayed relevant.
And I'll tell you.
I mean, look at what the best they could get was like a number 7 recruiting class.
Yeah. And can I just say this? The narrative is being pushed by places like Netflix On3, most recently The Athletic, and I just did a video about this, how The Athletic voted them as the most popular team in sports. It's a joke. A joke.
Oh, not even a good joke.
No. It would be sad if it wasn't so pathetic. That is the state of the scum football program.
And I saw something yesterday. I was just moving through, and I don't remember what I saw. It's probably on YouTube. That's why I watch 99% of the time. And they had that Connor on there, some fifth string quarterback on there talking about who would have thought that the best person on the team would have been, the guy stealing signs. Like, you people are so irrelevant. And what's coming for them is going to be absolute glorious, because I guarantee you, if you followed any of this stuff with the cheating scandal, the entire scandal, right? The NCAA has dropped something on them. They've done it 2 years in a row now, right before the spring game, and then they dropped something on them right before the season started. Yeah. And don't be surprised if the real heat doesn't start coming in right as the season's about ready, because I tell you what, they have pissed the NCAA. I've never seen the NCAA so PO'd. And I mean, let's remember, they made a rule. It's called the scum rule.
Yeah.
So they can speed up the process because of what's happened here. Let that sink in, Michigan fans. Let that sink in. NCAA made up a rule to speed up the process because of what you did. So that spring game, I can't wait. And it was nice to hear that there's going to be, once they get the main guys off there, they're going to let it go into a real game. But we haven't seen one of those, and I don't even know how long. I don't even know how long it's been since we've seen a spring game like that.
Well, yeah,
that's going to be fun.
This is a new Ryan Day, and Eric had mentioned this previously, but I got to agree with him. This is a new Ryan Day, because this is a guy who, until this year, would not have thought about going live with his quarterbacks in spring practice. And he's done it twice this season, gone live with these quarterbacks. And he said that this has turned into basically the most physical spring camp of his tenure, basically. It kind of alluded to that. The most physical spring camp of his tenure. I love it. Because physicality and intensity is what
this... I think everybody better be looking out. Everybody better be looking out, because we're about ready to go on a tear, and it's going to go on for years. Look what we're doing in recruiting. We're down in the deep South, getting kids out of Baton Rouge. We're getting kids out of Mississippi. Are you kidding me? That's never happened in my lifetime. Texas, yeah. Florida, yeah. But in recent years, we're in Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, and Mississippi.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. One, Ryan Day, I think, has unlocked the key to recruiting. And I think that the coaches that he works with, they've got the roadmap. They know what to do now.
I concur 100%.
The other thing is, and let's not discount this, it doesn't hurt that arguably the greatest coach in college football history retired. I mean, I was not a huge Nick Saban fan, but he's got a lot of respect from me.
You know what? Nobody saw what that was going to happen. Who would have thought that would have been a big game for Ohio State? Right? You would have thought that those riches would have just spread themselves out over the SEC, and that's not what happened.
Well, think about it. Nobody wants to be a part of the Georgia program. They've got more.
It opened up a vacuum to Columbus.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, nobody wants to be a part of the Georgia program. Georgia's had more arrests than wins in the last couple seasons.
And there's a point. I'm glad you brought that. I'm glad you brought that, brother, because you know what? Georgia, and I've always liked Georgia. Yeah. I've always liked that program. I remember watching them when I was a kid, And there's problems down there. Problems. I saw an interview where Kirby did a few weeks ago, and he was talking about he's got guys that don't want to come practice. They don't want to go work out. They don't want to go do anything. Dude, that's a cancer. That's a cancer. And you don't turn that around overnight, man.
No.
You don't turn that around overnight. You got guys that don't want to play. Bro, you don't want to practice? Bro, you ain't. And especially with the schedule they got to go play in the SEC, that's murder. That's murder. And Georgia is becoming irrelevant. Georgia's becoming irrelevant. It'll be a great place for defense, but you know what? If you're not going to win anything, how many guys want to go there?
Yeah.
You know, Clemson's always got a lot of guys out of Georgia. Auburn always got a lot of guys out of Georgia. Alabama always got a lot of guys. Those dudes are going to go somewhere else. They're going to go somewhere else, and we see them coming to Columbus. And Kirby can't develop a quarterback if his life depended on it. And also the run game, I've seen in Georgia, has fallen off under his tenure. The run game, they don't produce the running backs that Georgia used to produce. They used to produce just high-quality running backs. They don't do it anymore.
Yeah. I'll tell you, but the last one that's had great success in the NFL would be what? Nick Chubb? I think it's probably their most successful guy of recent history.
Yep.
But yeah, I think you're on point, man. I think you're on point with the recruiting. I think this is going to be an absolute great spring game. I'm so pumped for this. I think it's going to be a great season. You know, I am so excited, and this is a great time to mention again our spring showcase fan appreciation tailgate, the OHIO podcast 2nd and 7, working together for this tailgate. We're going to be just to the south of the French Field House, right near the bike path. We're going to get there early, get set up. We're going to be, out there before the game. We're going to be out there after the game. Just, out there cooking up some goodies, hanging out. Ryan Miller, former Ohio State linebacker, is supposed to be there. Former Ohio State lineman Mike Wargo is going to be there. Possibly a few other surprise guests may be stopping by as well. So, I mean, a great time. So if you're in Ohio, if you're in the area, and you're planning to go to the spring game, definitely stop and hang out at that for us or with us. Any other thoughts tonight, my man?
Just one real quick before I get out of here.
Hit me.
Texas is heading into buzzsaw coming to Columbus.
Oh, I agree.
Texas coming in. They're going to hit a buzzsaw in Columbus. And I don't think they realize exactly how bad that would have been, that bowl game would have been last year had we not missed a couple of touchdown passes. That game should have ended 42-14. There were two missed opportunities in the end zone. And I tell you what, I don't think their quarterback arm is worth a spit. I haven't seen him throw the ball yet, and every time I do, it's not impressive. Make him throw the ball, and we'll destroy Texas.
Well, I'll tell you the other thing. I want to see him run the ball, because if he hasn't watched what we did, well, he may not remember what we did to him last year, but just take a look at what happened to Tennessee when they decided to try to run their quarterback. Look at those Cotton Talbots last year, They
had to quit running after the first series.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, my man. I appreciate the call. You have a great night. OH.
Oh!
Go Bucks. All right, we got one more in queue. 614, I noticed you'd popped in there a couple times. Not a number on my list, so I wasn't sure who it was. Do apologize that we weren't able to get to you. But if you want to call back in, after I pick up a call from Speedman here, we're going to be having empty queue, so here we go. So, Speedman, who's calling in?
Hey, brother,
tonight?
how's it going?
Oh, just you tonight, huh?
What do you say, brother? It's the Hulkster. Hulkamania is alive.
Ooh, yeah. A little madness there to go with you. How's it going,
yeah,
dude?
Brother. Hey, brother, I am doing well, man. Man, excited to hear about the recruit and all that stuff. We've got some kids losing their black stripe and all that. But I want to ask you one thing, Mr. Wildman.
Yes, sir.
As far as the games you might circle on the calendar this year, what is your number one game and your number two game?
Well, here's the thing. I think you've got games that you always circle every year. And I'm going to go with, I'm going to go beyond that because I think every year you automatically circle Michigan. I think every year you automatically circle Penn State. Because for the better part of 2 decades, that's been Ohio State's competition. So I think you kind of, I'm going to look past that. So we're just going to assume they're 1 and 2 or they're in there. And I'm going to go for 2 that aren't obvious. Well, one of them might be, and I think that's Texas. Now, the nice thing with Texas is they've lost a lot as well. They've got to try to recover the same way that Ohio State is. I think Ohio State actually, talent-wise, is better. Quarterback-wise, I don't know right now. I think that both these teams trying to replace their starting quarterbacks from last year are gonna see something. Now, what I will say is, I promise you that Arch Manning has never seen a defensive backfield like he's going to see when he comes into Columbus on August the 30th. I don't know that Peyton or Eli ever saw a backfield like Arch Manning is going to see when he comes in to Columbus on August the 30th. And the other game for me that I think is a sneaky game, be cautious of Illinois. Illinois has got a lot of people coming back. Brett Bielema is a good coach. He's a whiner, but he's a good coach. And this game is at Illinois. So to me, October 11th in Illinois is one we have to pay attention to. So, I think those 2 outside of the ones I would always call our usual games, to me, those 2 are probably the biggest ones we've got.
All right.
But this is not an easy schedule. It's not the hardest in the Big Ten by far. I don't know if you got a chance to watch our show yesterday that we did with the scheduling or the Big Ten schedule debate. We had Dylan Kuhn on from the Boiler Express. They actually, he came on with us and we went over the Big Ten schedules. And I'll tell you, Ohio State's got a tough schedule, but I don't think it's at all close. You look at what happened with Wisconsin and that scheduling, that was just brutal. I mean, they have the worst schedule by far, probably in all college football. I mean, they got a couple easier teams. They got a MAC team. They got Middle Tennessee State. But then they go to Alabama. They come back from Maryland and then get a bye week. And check out this 4-game stretch. At Michigan, at home to Iowa, at home to Ohio State, and at Oregon in 4 consecutive weeks. That's just mean, man. That's just mean.
That's not even right. That's not even right, brother.
Luke Fickell is being set up to fail here. And I'll tell you what, and we talked about it. If he goes 8-4 with this schedule that he's got, he ought to be coach of the year.
Oh, absolutely.
And I just hate to see this for Luke Fickell because I believe he's a very good coach. I think he's a phenomenal coach. You look at what he did at Cincinnati, and I understand that these last couple of years at Wisconsin have maybe taken the shine off a little bit of what he accomplished at Cincinnati. But guys, he's in the same conference with the last 2 national champions. Asterisk one. But he's in the same conference with the Asterisk champs from 2023. He's in the same conference as Ohio State, the 2024 champs. Guys, I mean, it's tough to win in the Big Ten. He had quarterback issues. Yep. They had health issues. And, now they get this schedule. I feel bad for Luke Fickell, not just because he's a Buckeye, not just because he was one of my favorite Buckeyes, but because I think he's a good coach getting a bad rap right now.
Yeah, but as well as I do, if you don't want to, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. He did great at Cincinnati, and I know he was thrusted into head coach after Kessel got relieved of duty and all that stuff.
That was tough.
But yeah. But at the same time, I do think he's a great coach. I think he is very personable. I think he relates to the kids and all that stuff very well. But at the same time, it comes along with that recruiting and all that stuff. And, Wisconsin's always been a perennial power as far as getting those huge lines and all that on offense. Then, of course, you got the big guys from on the defensive line, too. And I don't think that he's quite met that standard yet.
Yeah, and I can understand that. I understand where you're coming from with that, and I don't think you're wrong. But, I'm feeling for the guy. That's all. Let's get back to Ohio State real quick. What are you most looking forward to in the spring game?
Oh, wow. Again, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be up there or whatever. We've got a wedding this weekend and all that stuff. But I am looking forward to seeing some of these kids shine, man. Devin Sanchez, Riley Pettijohn, all these guys that Ryan's been talking about in press conferences. James Peoples-Jones, I'm hoping will definitely set forth a path that will set precedents for the season. I don't know, man. I just love the spring game because we get to see some of these kids shine that sometimes don't even make it to the regular season per se. Like I remember watching Jalen McLean last year, and man, we were up there in the shoe, and that kid was all over the place.
Hey, Steely, can I pause you there for 1 second? 614, I did see you back in the queue. You are the only one that was in the queue. If you want to pop back in there, we'll be with you momentarily. We're going to wrap up with you as our last caller of the night. Because you've been trying hard to get in. All right, go ahead and finish your thoughts, Speed. Sorry about that.
Hey, it's all right, brother. I know we want to get everybody in there we can and stuff, but I just want to say one comment about Brett Bielema. He did all right up there in Wisconsin and all that stuff. When he went to Arkansas and he started chanting all that, oh, in the SEC it just means more. The SEC it just means more. Blah blah blah. Then he got beat by Toledo.
So much he came back to the Big Ten.
Yeah. I was rolling. He got beat by Toledo in Arkansas and got relieved of his duties or whatever. But anyways, we're going to let that go. But as far as my game circled this year, obviously, like you said, the obvious. But, man, I am just so motivated by the Penn State game just because we had a tofu-eating guy that, had a hell of a defense and all that. He went ahead and went there after we won a national championship. So in my mind, it's like you and Marcus Freeman, brother, let's bring it and let's dump it on him.
Yeah. I'm all for it. I don't begrudge Jim Knowles the right to leave. If you looked at it, and Eric and I both kind of predicted this, if you look at his track record, he's typically a 3-year rental. He came in, he did what we asked him to do. He helped guide this defense. He helped us get to a national championship. So I don't begrudge him that, but I will say this, I hope we go out there and just absolutely kick their sorry butts. And, everybody who's saying how great Penn State's defense is going to be, and Abdul Carter this year. So, yeah. So, all right, Speedman.
Yeah,
Well, hey,
I
brother,
agree.
you have a great night. Hope to hear from you again in the upcoming weeks, man. Maybe next week we can talk about how the spring game looked. So
Absolutely. Got a couple more thoughts. Can I get them in there real quick?
Yeah, hit me. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I just want to say the SEC is done dominating, with the advent of NIL. I mean, we got to realize that is done. Now that we're able to pay players like they have been for the last 40 years or whatever plus, I just can't see them being as dominant, unless the ESPN effect will keep putting them further up further than they need to be.
Yeah.
And deserve to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm in 100% agreement. Once the playing field got leveled, the mythological SEC dominance went out the window.
Yep. So, and then also my last thought, brother.
Go ahead.
So talking about these kids, these younger guys, Quincy Porter lost his black stripe already, man.
Yes, he did right out of the gate.
Yep. So let me know these other guys who have lost black stripes and or the guys you expect to see losing their black stripes in the very near future.
Oh, let's see here. Let me pull up the full list of who have lost their black stripes. So far, we have had Mike Lockhart, the sophomore corner, lost his first. Max Clare, Quincy Porter. Let's see. I'm trying to see how many of these, because some of these it feels like happened last year, but I could be wrong. I got the Armstrong twins.
Yep.
But
Devontae.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, who do I look forward to seeing lose their black stripe? I'll tell you. And I gotta look at. Yeah, I gotta check this real quick because this does not sound right to me.
Come on, brother. You're supposed to know all this stuff, man.
Well, and I know a lot of it, but I can't. I don't have it all right there.
I know, brother. I'm just teasing, man.
Well, there's one there that I thought has. Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought Devin Sanchez had lost his. He wasn't on the list. I'm like, that can't be right.
No.
For me, I think it's gonna probably be Riley.
Yeah, Pettijohn.
Yeah, as I look at this, I think Riley's probably the next one. Or don't be surprised if he has a tremendous spring game. We could see maybe Bo Jackson.
That's what I was thinking, brother. One of the two running backs that we got in there, man, I could totally see them losing their black stripe.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, see, I thought Devin had, according to Scarlet Game, Miles lost his. No, they said he has not lost it yet. So Sanchez has got to be the top on the list then. So I thought he had. There was a report on the internet he had, but he has not. So, and that's why I always go back and double check myself, man. You hear so much about
That's
him,
why they pay you
just
the big
assume.
bucks, brother.
Well, you better talk to Eric. I need a raise.
Yeah, there you go. I'll put in a good word for you, brother.
All right, man. Hey, you gotta have to let us know when there's some kind of event down there in Southern Ohio, because we still want to make sure that we get down there during our summer tour this year. So.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I'm so excited about that. You have no idea. Love to have you guys down here, host you, take you out dinner or whatever. And if anybody else wants to come down this way, in the chat and stuff like that, love to hook them up too. We got some hospitality down here, and we are definitely Buckeye fans.
Well, like I said, that's half my family's from down in that area, man. So.
Yep.
I'm excited to make the trip down. So, all right, yeah. Speed Man. Well, you have a great night.
You do the same, brother.
Oh, go Bucks, man.
That's right.
All right, guys. So I was looking for 614 to see if 614 popped back in. Poor guy's tried to call in 3 times tonight. Poor guy, poor girl, whoever it is, has tried to call in 3 times tonight. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a couple more minutes. If you don't pop in the next couple minutes, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. But in the meantime, if there's anything on the side that you'd like to throw up in the chat, go ahead and do just that. And, I want to take this opportunity one more time to just kind of remind you of our spring game showcase, fan appreciation tailgate, the OHIO podcast combined with Second and 7. We're going to be down at the south side of the French Field House, going to be over near the bike path. We're going to have some former Buckeyes over there signing some autographs. Among them is going to be Ryan Miller, Mike Wargo. We're going to have some prizes and giveaways. We're going to have food and just a lot of Ohio State fans sitting around, chilling, talking about the Buckeyes before and after the spring game, talking about what we saw. I'm sure that Eric will have the equipment with us to probably do a few on-the-spot interviews with some of you, which would really excite me a lot as well. And guys, I mean, we're here. We're on the cusp. We are 5 days away from your reigning, defending national champions going out there and trying to make it back to back. This Saturday is the first step. And I am just absolutely juiced. I'm going to have my family there. Eric's going to have his family there. We hope that you guys, if you're in the area, can bring your families and come on down and visit with us. Very, very exciting. So, let's see what Bobby's got here. Bobby Mack throws up a $2 super chat. I can't wait to beat Corey guessing wins and losses. Yeah, that's something else we're doing. If you haven't seen our show from last night, you might want to go through and rewatch it. We're going to have a new competition coming up here in a couple weeks where we are going to guess the over-unders on losses for all of the teams in the Big Ten. And the person who gets the most correct, we're going to do a 50-50 drawing. So basically it's going to be an entry fee to get in. The winner gets half. And then the other half is going to be donated to Second 7. And guys, if you don't know who Second 7 is by now with all the work we've done, well, let me just remind you, they're this great group. It was started by Ryan Miller, Luke Fickle, Mike Vrabel, who promotes youth literacy. And they have a lot of involvement from a lot of former players. Families of former players work at the organization, and they do just some tremendous work. And when you come to the tailgate, we do ask, we're not asking you to contribute. We're not asking you to bring money. This is our way of saying thank you to you. What we are asking, though, is if you would bring a children's book. Bring an elementary age book for Second 7 to donate to them. You don't want to donate a book? We'll take monetary donations for them as well. This is just a chance for us to say thank you, a chance to help Ryan Miller, the Second to Seventh Foundation, promote their work with youth literacy, and just a way to celebrate Ohio State going out and starting the defense of their national title. So, guys, it looks like the phones are done at this point. So, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the call-in show for tonight. We look forward to seeing you again. Eric will have his call-in show this Thursday. Of course, we will be at the Fan Appreciation Tailgate Saturday. Hope you can come there. And of course, Sunday night we'll be back with our live roundtable show, and we will discuss exactly what we saw during the spring game 2025. Thank you all for watching, and as always, go Bucks.